are set to begin one of the greatest weeks in all of dirt track racing.
It's a race that just means so much.
Just to get on the racetrack's pretty special. Come main time, just seeing the crowd there.
The crowd there is just electric, as you know, and whenever they get someone who's coming up through the alphabet soup on Saturday, they get into it. And
I feel like it elevates the close contact of it all, you know, like
as soon as you walk in that building, you got butterflies kind of rolling through your stomach. And
you've got the best guys literally from every single type of discipline of racing.
We got sprint cars, midgets, dirt modified guys, dirt late model guys, NASCAR drivers, IndyCar drivers.
But it's the fact that it's the Golden Driller. To put your name on that list, I think, means a lot. It means more than most race wins. Everyone has their own different opinion, and some of us may not even have the right understanding of why it's so special, but we just know it is.
Go down there with lots of high hopes, and sometimes you come out of there with a smile, sometimes you come out of there with your tail dragging.
You know, I go back and listen to interviews, and I hear me say the same shit every day, but it's pretty cool.
Straightaway, your leader goes flipping.
Heartbreak. And Tanner Carrick, finally, a prelim winner at the Chili Bowl.
Here comes Kofoid again. Around the top, and he got him down the straightaway. And he got to the bottom, too.
Gonna clear that. Big bomb down to 1 and 2. Larson's got it off the cushion, but Kofoid turns back underneath. Michael Buddy Kofoid's gonna get himself a prelim win here at the Chili Bowl National.
Kofoid knocks off Larson. Here comes Rico. It's the first of the Rico bomb. And Abreu wins on Wednesday night.
Christopher Bell in a lock-in position wants the prelim night win. Tanner Thorson going to do everything to hold him off as Christopher Bell throws the slider into turns 1 and 2. Off the cushion, moves Seaball to the front. Thorson's going to give him one last shot, rim riding the cushion, but it's Seaball winning again on Thursday.
Grant narrows. To the bottom goes Grant. Slider through the corner. Johnson crosses underneath. Back straight away. Can he get around the top? 3 and 4 the one way. Grant messed up. Stenhouse can't get there. It's Grant. Stenhouse.
The same time.
The Expo. Let him hear you. Justin Grant.
Now today, it's Driller Day. It's here, the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. I think it's time to pick who we think's going to win. I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. I didn't think so early on in his prelim race. He's just so good here, it's hard to pick against him.
I picked Tanner Thorson before, the week started. He's put together a really good week. Minden, Nevada's Tanner Thorson holds the Golden Driller tonight.
Into 3, out of 4. Green flag, we go racing at the Chili Bowl.
Battle for the lead, slide jump. Tanner Thorson takes the spot with 18 to go.
Thorson actually led the last time around, so it's Thorson in the lead now. Bill down to the bottom. It's Kofoid now showing his way into the field. That slide jump from Bill connects down the back straightaway. As the car goes yard sale, it's vacant. Here comes Bell's slider. Turns 1 and 2. Thorson, beautiful crossover. And he's going to hold it, getting into the corner. Pinches Bell up. Bell going to try to run it down again. Jumps the cushion. You are immortal. Tanner Thorson wins Chili Bowl.
Chili Bowl is obviously the biggest race of the year. It's the Daytona 500 or the Super Bowl of midget racing. And it's all about that trophy and the prestige of this race. It could pay $5 grand, and we're all going to be there. Rolling there this coming year and act like you never won it again. I like to say it was everything,
Pleasant good afternoon and welcome into our live coverage of the 37th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals here on FloRacing. Night number 1 of the broadcast. All week long we are presented by NOS Energy Drink, and these are the Dirt Draft Hot Laps about to hit the racetrack after a little bit of track packing for all the moisture that they just worked into the facility. My name is Caleb Hart. Chris Wilner and Clinton Boyles will be with me in the booth all week. Guys, welcome to the best week of the year.
Oh, absolutely. The energy is here since we dropped the green flag yesterday on Hot Laps. All 360 entries getting a chance to work this Tulsa Expo Raceway for the first time yesterday. A little bit of a different format, Clinton. We had all practice only yesterday, so today it's all about the Monday prelims. So did you like the format, and how was your day yesterday behind the wheel?
Yeah, I think everyone loved the 2 sets of practice. It definitely gave everyone some more laps and time to work on their stuff and get a little better, and I loved it. I thought my stuff was great and excited to watch the next 4 nights of qualifying before I get to go myself.
It's going to be a unique and interesting Chili Bowl this year. We're going to focus on the guys that are here running this race. And with that being said, we got some new faces on the broadcast crew for this week as well. Want to welcome in up top in our first hit with one Connor Wade, and welcoming on to the crew, Georgia Henneberry. Guys, gals,
hey, thank you so much, Caleb and Chris and Clinton. Going to be a great week here at the Chili Bowl. Like you said, time to kick off the best week of the year. Georgia, 66 entries for the first prelim night for this year's Chili Bowl. And we can't not talk about Mr. Monday, Cannon McIntosh, who won 2 Monday night prelims in 2020 and 2021. And even though he didn't win the Monday night prelim last year, he was still the show. Engine problems in the heat race, had to go from the C main all the way to, I believe, a 5th or 6th place finish in the prelim A main, setting himself up pretty nicely for Saturday. Cannon's going to be out in the first hot lap session and the first heat race tonight. That Dave McDalby team showed a lot of speed all year. They've got momentum in Georgia. I know you've got your eyes on somebody else that's got a lot of momentum in Tulsa already.
I think momentum is the word there. Gavin Boschel, what sets him apart from the field right now is that he won a driller just a week ago in the Tulsa shootout. He's only 14 years old, and this is going to be his second Chili Bowl attempt in his career. He's carrying that momentum over. He finished 14th last year. He got that win at the Tulsa shootout, and he is going to start 5th in heat number 4.
Gavin Boschel got a driller, and that is everybody's dream. Somebody that's been coming to the Chili Bowl for a long time and hasn't quite gotten that dream yet is Jerry Coons Jr. And if you think back to Monday night last year, it was the craziest race we saw all week. Jerry Coons Jr. leading the A-main at one point, unfortunately had an engine expire. That took him out of contention for the week. Jerry is running on Monday. Once again, he'll be here tonight looking for a little bit of redemption, a former Chili Bowl pole sitter back in my first Chili Bowl in 2015. Jerry looking to start his week off right, chase that first driller, and there's a lot of drivers in the field I know that have been coming here for such a long time, still looking for that first Chili Bowl win.
And we talk about experience. We have the Gavin Boschel. This is his second Chili Bowl. We have Jerry Coons Jr. going for his 23rd. Shane Golubic is also someone to look out there. He's locked in 3 times on his preliminary night, but he's never gotten the win, so you bet he's bringing his A game tonight.
And Matt Wood Racing, that team gets better and better here at the Chili Bowl every year, Georgia. As you know, one of the beautiful things about the Chili Bowl that we all love, the drivers we see from other disciplines. I know one guy that I'm pumped to watch that's running here tonight, Nick Hoffman, a modified guy. He wins, it seems like every modified race, every big modified race in the country, does a little bit more midget stuff each and every year, and a 5th place finish on his prelim night last year. Nick Hoffman is in action tonight, one of several drivers that come to the Chili Bowl after spending the summers running to other types of race cars.
Other disciplines we see NASCAR stars like Chase Briscoe. He'll be running tonight, and especially in the Race of Champions as well. He's never made a Chili Bowl A-main, but he has been here before, and he did not come to play. I talked to him a little bit earlier today. He said this is the most comfortable he's ever felt, so he'll be bringing that A game.
Whether you run NASCAR, IndyCar, Trans Am racing, road course racing, sprint cars throughout the year, it's all about getting behind the wheel of a midget and coming and chasing a golden driller at the Chili Bowl Nationals. It's going to be a great week. Let's meet another member of our broadcast team, Brian Ward.
Thank you, Connor. Hot laps are underway right now. I know it's getting a little loud down here in the infield, but you'll notice over my shoulder, we have a different flagman tonight. Our regular flagman, Terry Maddox, he is coaching basketball at his local high school, his hometown of Drummond, Oklahoma, so he will miss his first Chili Bowl night, I believe, since he's been coming as a little kid. So Terry Maddox, we wish you the best in your basketball. Sorry you couldn't be here tonight, but we got Logan McCubbin running the flags for us all night for the opener of the Chili Bowl. Guys, back in the booth.
Thank you so much, Brian. Apologies for that toss right when the drop of the green flag for hot laps. This is going to be heat race 1 and 2. Caleb and Clinton on the racetrack. Super juiced up here, as you can see by the clay, absolutely just spread out amongst all these race cars. But really cool to see our first kind of look at your first Monday night competitors here. We saw Cannon McIntosh out there as well. A good host of race cars.
Drivers from heat race 1 and 2 are on the track, correct, Chris? And there are some names out there who are going to get a racetrack that is a little wetter than what we're going to see for the rest of the week. And talking to the track prep guys, they expected first 2 heats might be your typical prelim night looking heat races, but they expect the track to develop relatively quickly. The other thing that they said they were willing to do was let these guys hot lap a little bit longer to try to get the track in better shape to make it wider and racier in heat race 1 and 2. We'll see if that ends up playing out like we expect. So amongst drivers you saw on the track in better shape to make it wider and racier in heat race 1 and 2. We'll see if that ends up playing out like we expect. So amongst drivers you saw on the track, again from heat race 1 and 2, we're going to see such luminaries like Cannon McIntosh, Trey Marcham, Tom Harris, amongst the big names that are going to be out in that as we get ready for the next group of hot laps to roll down the ramp. We want to welcome in another member of our broadcast team. Come on board, Mr. Adorable Chris Moore.
Thank you, Caleb. I enjoyed that. I'm focusing on the number 82. We have 82 rookies here at the Chili Bowl. And as has already been mentioned, drivers from all kinds of different race cars are here to try and pick up the Golden Driller. But not everybody has the same goal. Some guys just want to make the A-Main. Some guys just want to make the A-Main on their preliminary night. For the rookies, this is a big time opportunity to test the waters, get your feet wet, find out maybe just how good of a race car driver you are. So there's a lot to learn for rookies, especially here at the Chili Bowl. Heck of a time to make your first start in a midget, like guys like Josh Balicki, guys like Max McLaughlin from up in the Northeast. There's a lot to learn. This is a heck of a place to do it. But 82 guys are going to vie for one of those 24 spots in Saturday's A-Main. Guys, I'll throw it back to you in the booth.
Thanks, Chris. Heck of a rookie class this year, big rookie class this year, and way back into the Wayback Machine, Mr. Clinton Boyles. You remember being a rookie in this building, running your first Chili Bowl?
I do. It's pretty darn nerve-wracking and just overwhelming more than anything. And I was 16 back when you had to be 16 to run it, and definitely in over my head, but had a lot of fun, learned a lot, and haven't missed one since. So it's been a lot of fun coming here throughout the years, seeing the race grow and expand and turn into what it is today.
What main event did you make in your first year?
I could not tell you. It was not a good one. It was not a good one.
Did you violate your own if you're running before noon rule or not showing up?
Oh, I guarantee I was. Yep. I tried to tuck that one down in the memory bank that doesn't ever come back up. So.
At the same time, every time you hit the track here at the Expo Raceway, it's a learning experience. It is something to file away for later, is it not?
Yeah, I was kind of one of those clowns that decided to make the Chili Bowl their first ever midget race. So that was a terrible idea back in the day. But someone offers you a chance to go drive a midget at Chili Bowl, and I've been coming here since I was 3 years old. So it was just like, okay, yep, we're going to do this. I don't know if I'll ever get another chance. So it was a lot of fun, and I do remember rolling down the ramp for this hot lap group here. When you're out there with almost 20 cars on a fully juiced racetrack, and these are some of the most nerve-wracking 3 or 4 laps of your entire weekend because you have basically nothing to gain and everything to lose in these couple laps. So everyone out there trying to give it their all, go fast, see what they got, but at the same time, you got to be so careful.
The important thing to note out of this as well, this is the Dirt Draft Hot Laps this year. This is something kind of new to our program as well, as we've partnered with Dirt Draft and want to encourage you guys to go on board and play Dirt Draft as well. There are some really cool prizes that are going on, and you have up until the first heat race starts each night to set your lineup. You're competing against hundreds of other race fans and FloRacing announcers, Chris Wilner. That's right. You get to pick 5 drivers each night. You stay under the $100,000 salary cap, earn points based on your finish for use for cool stuff within the Dirt Draft Speed Shop. And you also can use points for merchandise, tickets, pay-per-views, subscriptions, experience, and more. Now, Chris, you're locked in. You're dirt drafting for the first time.
I am. I'm a rookie when it comes to any sort of dirt draft or betting or anything like that. I don't do a lot of it, but let me tell you, it is nice and easy. So if you haven't done it and you're a big fan, of course, here at the Chili Bowl Nationals, I would suggest to get on Dirt Draft and do it. I've got my 5 locked in. It's hard. You think $100,000 spending, which, by the way, that's not my own money.
Right.
But you have that $100K to spend, and some of these drivers cost a pretty penny. But you know what? I'm going for the win. So I've got Cannon McIntosh, Shane Golopic as my top 2, and then I have Trey Marcham, Alex Sewell, and Ayrton Jenitin rounding out my top 5. So let me know how I'm doing. If you folks are at home playing Dirt Draft, it's fun to follow along, and maybe you'll see me slowly fall down the leaderboard back to last place. Hopefully that's not the case.
Hey, just for subscribing to Dirt Draft, you get a free t-shirt.
You do.
You use the promo code FloRacing, FLORACING, and we're going to ship you a free Flo Hawk t-shirt for new Dirt Draft subscribers. These are the Dirt Draft Hot Laps, and Hot Lap session number 2 with the heat race drivers from number 3 and 4. As for a second, it looked like the Dragonfly Aviation car was about to get run over by a push truck. That would have been terrible.
No kidding. That was Kevin Reed, I believe, in that Dragonfly Aviation. Nope, just kidding. That's Chris Carroll, one of our rookies, which, again, hard to believe we're calling Chris Carroll a rookie with the amount of laps and, of course, winning a Tulsa Shootout driller, but comes into this building for the first time in a midget as you take a look at Chase Briscoe. Back in a midget once again here at the Chili Bowl after a very successful NASCAR Cup season for Stewart-Haas Racing. He's made the Chili Bowl A-Main once, but the last 3 or 4 years he's been the guy on the outside looking in or one of the guys on the outside looking in. Very narrow on a Saturday B or C main. So he wants to turn that luck around in this building, and he told me this week, actually really yesterday after he was done, I've got probably the best car I've had in this building. So watch out for Chase Briscoe.
Corey Schutte of Battlefield, Missouri, a multiple-time wingless feature winner here on the season, but very, very good with the Power Eye Sprint Car Series that's running around as you get a look at a couple more of the drivers on the track. 7R of Casey Burkham from Seaville, Texas, one of the ones you're looking at.
It's a Ramco entry. Kevin Ramey and Taylor Courtney bringing a stable of race cars, a wing sprint car racer out there in Texas.
Weird to think of Daniel Adler as a veteran now of the Chili Bowl building, but that he is in the blue number 50 car you see middle of your screen right now. Behind him, stacked up, that should be Jerry Bray in the 45 Junior, black with red number white trim on it.
18K, Billy Rayburn, and there is G-Money Gavin Boschel. You heard it in the pre-race from Connor Wade and Georgia Henneberry about how he comes into this building with arguably some of the most confidence after capturing a golden driller just a week ago at the Tulsa Shootout, his first ever. One of the Millbridge kids out of North Carolina, knows how to run the board. He actually has his helmet, a helmet made for the Shootout in the Chili Bowl that says Board Beater. So we know where he's going to run the race car, and that's going to be on the top side of this racetrack. It's only a matter of time when he gets up there.
Ryan Timms driving the 67. Big things expected out of Ryan as he is part of the Keith Kunz Motorsports stable of cars here in 2023 for this Chili Bowl. Timms jumping into a 410 sprint car for the first time this last season and quickly showing all of the talent that we have seen from him out of Tulsa many, many times here in the past. Once again, a look at Bray, one of the Billings, Montana drivers. A couple of different drivers from Montana in the field where they have no midget racing. I can verify.
Yeah, really excited to see what Ryan Timms can do. This is a big opportunity to run in that house car for Keith Kunz Motorsports. We've seen the likes of Buddy Coforth, obviously, and Jay Drake, Kyle Larson, and now it's Ryan Timms' turn to put on a show for Keith Kunz Motorsports, former Trophy Cup prelim winner, as we're underway in this hot lap session. Good opportunity to kind of move out the racetrack, get a lot more laps around this facility as we kind of try to work this track into tip-top shape here come racing time.
A look at Timms once again down back straightaway entering turn number 3 and saw it on the steering wheel to get that car turned around. So far, fastest lap of hot laps here in the Dirt Draft Hot Laps belongs to Jerry Kunz Jr., if I'm seeing that right.
Yep, Jerry Kunz Jr. in the 85. Again, one of the longest running Chili Bowl A-Main starters still active in the field. In that 85 machine, Jerry Kunz Jr., 14 consecutive prelim A-Main appearances, was one of the longest stretches. As you take a look at Emilio Hoover in one of the Team Ripper machines. Steven Snodder out there. Chase Briscoe second on the board, running in the 10.839 second bracket, and that is absolutely flying around the Expo Raceway. I think the best lap I've ever done in iRacing in a midget here was about a 10.7, 10.8. So we're, again, I'm not a veteran. I'm sure people go a lot faster, but that's ripping.
Well, while we have a couple of seconds in between these hot lap sessions, we're going to reintroduce Brian Ward.
Yeah, sorry about that, Brian.
Yeah, this time without race cars in the track making noise. Brian, good afternoon and welcome into the show.
Good afternoon. No worries at all, guys. Love being here in the infield and hearing the roar of those engines right here up close and personal. If you couldn't hear me before, what I was mentioning was Terry Maddox said the first time in 10 years he is missing a night of Chili Bowl. He is a basketball coach at his hometown. I think it's at Drummond the last time. Let me correct myself. Drumright, Oklahoma is where he's from and where he coaches basketball in his hometown. He's got some games tonight, so he will miss the opener of the Chili Bowl. But we've got Logan McCubbin on the flags. He's out of Missouri. He filled in last week, the day that Terry missed most of that middle of the weekday at the shootout where he was out. Logan was on the flags. He'll be on the flags again tonight. So we got everything in good hands. And one more thing I wanted to mention, we've talked about it a lot at the shootout. The video board, it was up in turn number 1. It's moved to turn number 2 right now, so you got to see a little bit of that if you watched the shootout. If you did not and you're tuning in for the Chili Bowl, that big screen has been moved. It has been expanded. It's a little bit larger than it's been in the past. We did see some drivers say, it's not helping me anymore, I can't see it. Others said, hey, I'm still using that board over there. So it'd be interesting to see what these Chili Bowl drivers say about it being moved over there on top turn number 2.
Thank you so much, Brian. And we're going to go right to our driver analyst, Clinton Boyles. You had a chance in practice yesterday. Did you take a peek? Did you see what you could see out there?
Yeah, I went ahead and looked at it a couple of times just to, for reference, so I know in a heat race situation or whatever, and you can definitely still see it. The guys that have the left side arm guards that have the the upper left side body panel, that makes it a little bit harder for sure to see if you're tall like me. I'm sure some of the smaller competitors have no problems, but yeah, no, you can for sure take a glimpse at it and still kind of see, and if you're comfortable in your car, recognize kind of what's going on and use it to your advantage or maybe disadvantage if you read it wrong. So it goes both ways.
Has your timing of looking at the screen changed?
Yeah, you definitely have to catch it a little bit more towards exit as opposed to kind of settled in down the straightaway, so that makes it a little bit more tricky. If you're kind of coming off the bottom of turn 4, it definitely makes it harder to get up and peek at it while you're kind of focused on coming off the berm in a proper manner to where you set your entry up into 1. So it's just a laps thing, I think. If your car's really good and stuff has kind of happened in slow motion for you, and it makes it easier, but that doesn't mean that looking at it is the right thing to do all the time, because we've seen guys look at it and miss it. And prime example is Kyle Larson said he looked at it one time, and that's what cost him the feature win, because he misread kind of what he was doing there with Christopher Bell. So it's a pro and a con all at the same time, and definitely a big part of Chili Bowl.
It'll be an interesting story as the week develops on, as you were looking at the cars rolling down the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam, and of course our broadcast fueled all week long by the fine folks at NOS. Get a look at Chris Wyndham, another NOS Energy Drink sponsored driver. His Toyota-powered car ready to come out for this hot lap session. These are the drivers from heat races number 5 and heat races number 6. And we took a look at this lineup earlier, guys. Chris is in a really good position for a good point scoring run if he can make it through that heat race. That heat race has got some interesting competitors in and around him as well.
Yeah, starting 6th in heat race number 5, and you've got a rookie on the front row of that, Tanner Holmes, in the CB Industry 81 that you're taking a look at right now. A Chili Bowl rookie. We saw him impress, turn a lot of heads at the shootout. An Outlaw Kart veteran out in California trying his hand in the midget cars here for the first time, but looked really good in practice. So again, now where does the experience kind of benefit the veterans over a rookie like Tanner Holmes, who has a lot of speed? We'll wait and see, but certainly that'll be a good heat race.
He's coming into this weekend with momentum as well, as last Saturday night, he won the Outlaw Kart show that was going on down in Shawnee for big money. So comes in a victor already in Oklahoma, and now with a very good ride at this year's Chili Bowl.
The 6 car, Bill Rose, Plainfield, Indiana, back on the racetrack here at the Tulsa Expo Raceway.
One of the nicest guys in the pit area they're going to meet. And one of the few guys that is still racing multiple disciplines of cars whenever he gets the chances on.
Cap Henry's going to come deep in heat race number 6. A good points opportunity for Cap Henry in the 0H machine.
Guy that you're familiar with, Clinton, running out with the Tezos All-Star Circuit of Champions. Cap, strong competitor out with that group.
Yeah, Cap had a really good year. They finished, I believe, 3rd in owner points, and Cap with multiple wins throughout the year. It was a lot of fun getting raced with those guys.
He is a slick track guy, is he not? That place gets icy, and he gets really, really good.
Yeah, he for sure is, but he's developed kind of on the big track also, and surprised a lot of people this year. But when it gets slick, Cap Henry is always going to be really good.
Taking a look at Chris Wyndham in the 89. Again, outside, row number 3 for the Canton, Illinois-based driver.
Got 3rd in his prelim last year, missed that top 2 lock into Saturday's A main, was able to advance out of the B. As issues here for the 36 machine.
Ian Krieger is the driver.
Covington, Ohio. But yeah, going back to Wyndham, this is a guy that won a lot of races in a lot of different open wheel disciplines. Of course, USAC championships, but not a Chili Bowl win. And that's something that you don't want to leave a career without having that. Obviously moved on to running wing sprint cars primarily, but this event means a lot to him.
I almost think he's better off coming into Chili Bowl this year after running wing cars for the full year, because you don't spend a year kind of developing an expected feel in the midget. You don't come in searching for a certain type of race car that makes you feel good. He's just going to step in thing and run the crap out of it. So I look for big things for Chris Wyndham this year.
Michael Smith with the nameplate on that 76 that says nobody from nowhere. Well, he's from Landisville, Pennsylvania, so you are from somewhere.
Yes. And I am immediately rooting for that guy.
Exactly.
That's fairly cool.
Love that.
Good looking car. Krieger is trying to get the car fired off. The 36C circling around his outside. A veteran of this event, Weston Gorham in the 18 from Colleyville, Texas. The 18N. There's the 25, Jacob Denny, outside row number 2, or outside row 1 in heat race number 6. And Denny has definitely turned some heads in open wheel competition. Over the last couple of seasons, he's put together a couple of pretty good Chili Bowls on top of a great outdoor season this last year.
Yeah, I remember Denny first coming on the scene when he kicked my butt and Chris Wyndham's butt in a heat race, I think last year or 2 years ago at Chili Bowl, 2 years ago. So he definitely burst on the scene after that and had some really strong runs, and a really nice piece there with the Malloy-owned and Jerome Rodella wrenched Trent Shoring 25.
Absolutely. First national win came this year, Midget Week at Putnamville, too. So certainly a guy who burst onto the scene this year. You should take a look at one of our square tail tank competitors, and that's 73B. Yeah, you're a big fan of those.
Yeah, big square tail tank guy. Tyler Edwards.
This is, and I'll go ahead and put it on the record because Walkipedia said, first of all, Brian Walker, Walkipedia, best social media experience you have. If you haven't pinned him yet, do it. That is his dark horse for High Point Man, Tyler Edwards.
Green flag is out here on this hot lap session as you're watching Brian Schwabauer out of Hastings, Nebraska, putting laps down. He's out on the outside of row number 1 of heat race 5. There is Holmes and Edwards. Out down the back straightaway, our NOS Energy Drink lap tracker is up on the left side of the board. You can see in real time who is ripping off the quickest laps here at the Expo Raceway, measured in 1/5 of a mile around.
Take a look at the Dirt Draft hot lap times. Jacob Denny to the top, 10.727. So nearly just over a tenth quicker than Jerry Coons Jr., Chase Briscoe, Gavin Moschel, Ryan Timms, your top 5, but Jacob Denny laying down a good lap time here. Let's take a look at Chris Wyndham in the CB Industries NOS Energy Drink number 89. Caught in up some traffic as you see Jacob Denny rip a tear off. Again, right now, just trying to feel out your race car, see what you have as checker flag is out. We get pelted here in the Brian Kapinski broadcast booth, as we often do early on in a race night when you have that heavy stuff.
Love it.
Yeah.
Just tells us we're in Tulsa at the point where we're getting machine gunned by Clay out here in corner number 4. It's awesome. So Denny, Coons Jr., Briscoe, Bichelle, and Timms right now 1 through 5. Holmes, Schutte, Wyndham, Snyder Jr., and Edwards in your top 10. That's a good run. I mean, I'll talk a good amount about Tanner Holmes because I'm familiar with him because he's from my area, but that's a good run for a kid that midget experience is nil. Comes in, hammer down, and go, and shows you the talent behind him. He might be a sneaky factor as this night goes on, although he's kind of going to be burdened starting pole position of the heat race that he's in. Scoring opportunity for him is low. 100 points to win your heat race from the pole. Now, that's always good enough to get you into a qualifier, but then you got to scramble through that qualifier to do something big.
Absolutely. And then for a guy with not a lot of laps in a midget, and Clinton, you can attest to this is not an easy track to get used to a midget, right? It's so technical, especially as the track changes and it gets slicker and slicker. I mean, you've kind of really got to be up on the 8 ball, so maybe experience doesn't help him in this case because he doesn't have a whole lot.
No, but I'm not afraid to be starting on the pole if I'm him right now, because if he goes out and does his job in the heat race and wins it, he's probably starting on the pole of a qualifier. He's going to be kind of right on the verge of a cutoff, and if I'm him, I would probably rather start on the pole of my qualifier than miss the invert, and start 6th, or 6th or 7th, and it's a lot easier to stay out front and than it is to pass cars. And I know if you at shootout, if you start on the pole, you're kind of doomed, but it's a blessing in disguise here sometimes for sure when you go out and just do your job, start at the front all night and win your races, and then start 6th or 7th in the feature and you have a shot at it.
Taking a look at the NOS Energy Drink ramp cam. It'll be a busy place, and we talk about it each and every year, whether it's the Tulsa Shootout or the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. Going down the ramp is some of the most adrenaline rushed, nervous energy bodies in those race cars I think that you'll see throughout the year, and I know you experience that every time you go down this ramp.
Yeah, every time you go down it, you'd think it'd get more and more easy or calming, and it just never really does. There's just always that feel about heading down that ramp here at Chili Bowl that's just different. It's something you can't really describe. I wish everyone could experience it, but I'm for sure lucky to be able to do it.
Heck, we're just lucky to be here. You know what I mean? It's an honor to be in this building and calling races. The one major race that really went without interruption during the COVID year. We still came back. We still ran the shootout. We still ran Chili Bowl. So we continue to put these together over and over again. And no matter if we had a 25% full building that year or 100% like it's going to be this year, and it is going to be packed this year for the 37th annual Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals. It's an honor for us to be here and bringing it to you. As let's start taking a look at the drivers from heat races 7 and 8 who are out here for our 4th hot lap session. And that is the winner of the KKM Give Back Classic, Kyle Spence, the 2-time Tulsa Shootout winner, got the midget ride for this week with Keith Kunz Motorsports.
Yeah, he wasted no time in that Victory Lane interview at Port City saying, I'm taking Keith's ride, and for sure he's going to try to make the most of it. A very accomplished micro sprint racer. Had the pleasure of racing against him at the shootout here a couple years ago, and rightfully so, deserving driver to get the opportunity to race for Keith on such a big stage. And he looked really good yesterday in hot laps. You know, you talk to anybody that's making the jump from micros to midgets, it may take a little bit more time, but Kyle's got that natural ability that he looked pretty solid in his practice sessions yesterday. So I'd be curious to see just how the thing races and how he does here in his debut.
Taking a look, the 40U out on the racetrack. That's Jay Sparks out of Crystal Lake, Illinois, one of a very solid contingent of Illinois-based drivers that always come out and contest our Chili Bowl Nationals. He goes inside row number 4 of heat race number 7. Thumping his hands on the steering wheel and waiting to fire off in those last couple of nervous moments before you finally get to be at speed and on the racetrack for your race day. There you go.
That's when it gets all easier right there, as soon as they start pushing. You know what to do at that point.
Take a look at Jeffrey Champagne in one of the Dave.com 31 entries, 31X for Champagne, one of my favorite interviews of the year if you get a chance to talk to him. He's always pretty animated. He said he loves coming to this event, not only to race, but he goes, I love visiting with the Flow guys. That's what he told me. So I appreciate that, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
And good luck this weekend. There's a guy many have circled as an opportunity to not only possibly be high point man or even have an opportunity to lock in, but even win tonight's opening Cummins qualifying night prelim. That is Shane Golubic, the Matt Wood Racing stable. What more can you say about him racing out west in wing sprint cars? I mean, I believe, 3-time Trophy Cup winner?
The guy has won everything there is to win on our coast, save Dirt Cup, and darn it, he's been close. He's starting to get closer on that particular one, a race that you saw this last year on FloRacing. Golubic's a stud. He's a good representative of that team in open wheel racing on the West Coast.
And there's Nick Hoffman, who Connor mentioned. What a great story to see him just back racing. Had a horrible accident in September with his hauler. His dad, Daryl, was in there as well as one of their crew members, and had just an extensive amount of injuries. His father, Daryl, broke his back. I know Nick had a collapsed lung and took several weeks to recover. This is actually, I think, his first real big race back in a car since that accident. So he's getting ready to gear up. Moving over to the World of Outlaw Late Model Series full-time in 2023. He's going ahead of Volusia next week, so couldn't pass up an opportunity to get back in a midget.
Out on the racetrack, the 51C of Logan Calderwood out of Goodyear, Arizona, and the open wheel scene in Arizona continues to pop off, get stronger, despite the fact that more of their tracks are closing. Kind of a weird deal. Gary Taylor in the Dunlap Performance number 32. He has got the pole position for heat race number 8. Always a ace inside this building. You saw him drive many years for the Loyette crew. Now involved with Dunlap and looking to put that car in the A-main for Brian and Dad. And
if you know Brian Dunlap, you know on Twitter every day there's a countdown of how many days till Chili Bowl load in. That guy lives and breathes the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl Nationals each and every year. Takes a lot of pride, him and his dad, putting these cars together. 2 good shoes in this week.
Green flag is out on the hot lap session, the final one of our segment. Jacob Denny still with the fastest lap of the cars that have been on the track. 66 drivers drew in for competition tonight. First 2 heat races will have 9 cars apiece. The back 6
also out on the racetrack. That's the 7T of TJ Smith, who we watched a golden driller, and already our first steering wheel throw of the day as the caution flag flies for the 18L of Logan Scherb out of Decatur, Texas.
He had a motor go up in smoke, guys. I saw it getting into 3, big old sparks out the side of the race car, and I think his motor driveline, the way he's acting down by his legs with his Vans shoes on.
You wearing Vans?
I didn't know Vans made racing shoes.
They may not.
Interesting.
They're not Hey Dudes.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I would think if it was driveline, they'd be jacking up the back of the car.
Yeah.
So, kind of tough telling there, but big sparks, smoke out the side of the 18L.
Yeah, as quick as he got out of that thing. As our man on the scenes, Brian Ward. Brian, what are you seeing?
Guys, I didn't get across the track to talk to him, but I confirmed that what Clinton said, it did go up in smoke as he entered turn number 3, and he got out of the car. He was wiping down his legs, might have had some fluids come on there. That's why he climbed out real quick. And I can also confirm they're not actually Vans. That is a line of race shoes by Velocita that they make to look like that. So he is racing in some actual safety gear. They are not some unsafe shoes in that race car.
I figured, but I'd never seen those before. Those are pretty cool.
Styling and profiling in the Velocita.
That's right.
Who I need to say a big thank you for loaning me the helmet for the 2-seater ride.
That's right.
Thank you, guys. So they will roll back around. We'll fire back up. Again, Logan Calderwood, the 51C, one of the R.J. Johnson stable of cars. Let's play Carrier, driving car number 44, white with blue-framed machine. Carrier going off in the final heat race of the day from Amite, Louisiana. Sean McClellan, who's been really good in this building, an A-main starter for the Chili Bowl before, the black and green number 22, and another look at Kyle Spence entering in our turn 1 camp.
Yeah, I mentioned also TJ Smith is out there, one of the Shannon McQueen entries, a Golden Driller winner last week. First time, it was a big breath of fresh air as you look at Smith out of California. Definitely well-deserving, and now he comes into this building with a lot more extra mojo here this week.
Lap times, your top 5 continues to be unchanged as you're watching Hoffman trying to pick his way through and bring Golubic with him. As they may not be getting clean air laps, but they're getting a chance to run in traffic and find out how good the cars are there as we've got one turned around. Once again, Jay Sparks, we saw earlier, waiting to get shoved off in the Blackjack Express number 40U.
And they're going to go ahead and display the checkered flag, so that'll conclude our final group of hot laps.
Dirt draft hot laps, in fact, all finished up. Jacob Denny's going to have a fast time. You guys have about 15 minutes and change to get signed up for night number 1 of Dirt Draft. Week-long competition. You're going to find out how you stack up. You want to get involved night 1. And again, free t-shirt for signing up. It's a free Flo Hawk t-shirt for new subscribers. Use the promo code FloRacing, and we will ship a shirt to you. How'd your drivers end up there? None of them really... trying to remember.
Not too flashy. You know, Ken and Mac, they're all kind of mid-pack, but again, I think a lot of them didn't really have a clean enough track to lay down an absolute flyer like Jacob Denny. Jacob had much of a clean track ahead of him when he put that lap down, but still confident in my pick, so we'll see what happens.
So you've never raced Chili Bowl, but
I have not.
If you end up being the fantasy championship winner for the entire week,
do I get a driller?
The overall leaderboard winner after 6 nights.